And God said, Behold, I have given you every herb-bearing seed. To you it shall be for food. Genesis 1:29. Man did eat angels' food. He sent them meat to the full. Psalm 78:25. Everyday Manna with Lisa.
Hi everybody, and welcome to Everyday Manna, and Merry Christmas from all of us to you. Today we are going to show you some holiday appetizers. A lot of us, my family included, have gatherings where we really don't want a big meal, but we want lots of bites of things. So today I'm going to show you some of my favorite appetizers to serve at a holiday gathering or really any time of the year. One of my favorite things to eat are bacon-wrapped water chestnuts. They are so good, and although today I'm going to make it on a pot on top of the stove, this is one of those dishes that you could totally put in a crock pot. Do the roasting part that I'm going to show you first, and then put it all in a crock pot, put it on low, and then you can just come back and forth as you want to eat. What you need are whole water chestnuts. Now these come in the little 4-ounce cans. You want the whole water chestnuts drained. You need some bacon. This is a package of bacon, and what you need to do is cut it into thirds. Just lay it out like I've done and cut it into thirds, and some toothpicks to get started with. So take one of your water chestnuts and just wrap it in bacon, and what I do is get a few of my toothpicks out, and then just take a toothpick, if I can get my fingers to work here, and then just go through the water chestnut just like that, and then lay it on some kind of rack. Now I couldn't find the bottom of my my broiler pan. I bet many of you can't. So what I do is put the lid over top of some sort of baking sheet because you want to catch the bacon drippings. I'll show you how to do another one. One water chestnut, fold the bacon over, and then run a toothpick through it and lay it on a pan. And what you're going to do is you're going to finish wrapping all of your chestnuts. Now for me, I have 4 cans of water chestnuts and 1 package of bacon. And if it doesn't work out exact, that's okay. We can, use more or less. Then you're going to take this sheet pan and put it in a 425 or so degree oven, and you're going to roast those for about 20 or 25 minutes until the bacon cooks. And then we're going to make a sauce to put over them and simmer them in that sauce. And it is so easy and so good. It's a little bit time consuming to do this part. Great thing to get your family involved. Your children will love to help you do this. Just tell them to be careful with the toothpicks. This is not one of those times. Make sure your toothpicks are good and sturdy. You don't want to use those really thin toothpicks that will break too easily. You need a little bit firmer of a toothpick. So I'm just going to roll up the rest of these water chestnuts. All right, now our water chestnuts are in the oven, and I'm going to show you how to make this sauce that we're going to put them into once they come out of the oven and the bacon drippings have rendered out and the bacon has crisped up just a little bit. In my pan, I'm going to mix 1 cup of brown sugar, just 1 cup of either light brown or dark brown will work, either one. Kind of break up the clumps a little bit here. And 1 cup of just ketchup, just plain ketchup. You could, if you wanted to, use chili sauce to make it a little bit spicier, you absolutely could. But I'll just tell you, this recipe is so good. These are delicious. And this is how I learned to make them, and I don't mess with perfection when it comes to some things. And this, to me, is one of the best appetizers that you could make. And 1 cup of ketchup, and that's it. Now that is easy, and anybody could do that, and everybody will think you are just fancy, fancy. Stir that up, and you're gonna heat it together, and when the chestnuts come out of the oven, we will put those down in there and let them just simmer for like 20 minutes, and there you go. Or, again, you could do this part in the crock pot, and after you take the water chestnuts out of the oven, put it down in your crock pot, and it would be delicious. And then you could just keep it on low or warm if your crock pot has a warm setting. And at your gathering, everybody can just come and go as they please. And it just really is very, very good. They're totally addicting. I will forewarn you now. I could eat the whole entire recipe myself. I love them that much. They are really, really good, and I want you to try that recipe. So we're just gonna let that set to the side until those get done. Now, everybody likes buffalo wings, but that is not something that is conducive to do ahead of time for a large crowd of people, but this is, and you get all of those same flavors. We're going to use a mini muffin tin that I have sprayed with nonstick cooking spray. And one of my favorite little things to have on hand for quick appetizers are wonton wrappers. You know, the little things, we've used them several times. We're going to make little cups out of these. So what I do is take the wonton wrappers, kind of lay them out on your board, on your work surface. And then you're going to take some hot sauce, just plain old hot sauce, and we're going to brush the wonton wrappers with it. I'm going to spray with a little bit of nonstick cooking spray, and then just brush the wonton wrappers with hot sauce. And I just do the inside. This is one of those things, you know, if you've got somebody that really likes heat, you could absolutely do both sides of the cup, but I'm really just gonna do the inside of the cup. I'm gonna show you how to do these. And then take your wonton wrapper and put it down inside the little muffin tin, and it'll fit in there. Just kind of work it down in there, take your finger and press it. And we're gonna make little wonton cups, if you will. And then we're gonna put our buffalo chicken mixture that we're gonna make up down in these little cups. You see how to do that? It's really easy. Let's get up here where I'm not stretching so far. It really is simple to do. Again, something great to get your children involved. They would love to do this. And they look so fancy and so pretty, and they couldn't be easier. So it's just little wonton wrappers. These freeze beautifully, by the way, if you do not use the whole package, because there's like 80 in there, or there's 60 in mine. If you don't use the whole package, then you can take what's left over and freeze them, and then just take them out, let them thaw for a couple of hours in the refrigerator before you need them the next time if you don't use them all. So I'm just gonna keep brushing these with hot sauce and line up all of our little cups. And then they bake at about 350 degrees, or if you've got something else in the oven, it's fine. Like my bacon wrapped water chestnuts are in there. I'm just gonna put them in the oven with that for about 8 minutes or so until they crisp up, and then you can take them out, let them cool, and you're gonna fill them. I'll be right back with you in just a minute. And welcome back. Now we are multitasking today. I have the wonton cups in the oven, the bacon wrapped water chestnuts roasting away in the oven, and there is nothing that smells like bacon when it is cooking. But we're going to get started on the filling for the buffalo chicken cups. I have a large skillet here that I'm preheating, and I have a pan here that I have melted 4 tablespoons of butter and about 1/3 to 1/4 of a cup, which however hot you like, anywhere, you know, from 1/4 to 1/3 of a cup of hot sauce. melted them together, because that's the traditional hot sauce coating, is butter and hot sauce. I have about 1 pound of chicken tenders here that I am going to dice up just very fine, because you're going to be putting these in this little tiny little cup, so you don't want it to be too thick. In fact, I think I've got too many going at one time, so let's cut that down just a little bit here. I'm using chicken tenders, but if you like dark meat, by all means, you could use the boneless, skinless chicken thighs. Would be perfectly fine. You could use either one, and that would work. So you just use what you like. I just prefer white meat, but if you like dark, use thigh meat. That's perfectly fine. But we're just dicing up. This is about 1 pound. And you could make this filling if you wanted to and serve it over some lettuce and have a salad. You could have a buffalo chicken salad. Would be good. Either way you want to do. But we're going to do those little appetizer cups. This is a great thing to make ahead, because this is perfectly good at room temperature. So this is one of those things that you could make ahead and have it ready to go and serve it at room temperature. Would be fine. So about 2 or 3 tablespoons of just some canola oil or olive oil or something in your pan. And we're going to saute this chicken just quickly. It doesn't take it long because we cut it up into bite-sized pieces. And if you'll notice, I had a little mat on my cutting board. We don't ever want to put raw poultry or meat of any kind on your wooden cutting boards. And I really do like those little disposable, or not disposable, but rewashable, flexible mats. They used to make these little paper mats that you could throw away, but they discontinued those. I don't know why. And there's my little timer to tell me that our little cups are done. So let's go to the oven and pull out our little wonton cups, and I'll show you what we have in the oven. There's the bacon, and it's just crisping away. And here are our little wonton cups. Let me put my oven mitts on. I don't want to burn myself. And that's what you get with the little wonton cups that we put the hot sauce on and baked them. We're just going to kind of let those cool for a few minutes while we make our filling. Now let's add a little bit of salt and a little bit of pepper to our chicken. We want to season it up as we're cooking. And while that's cooking, we're going to dice an onion and some celery very fine, because you want to have some flavor in that. I'm going to add a little minced onion to it. This is just a regular yellow cooking onion. You could use little green scallions if you wanted to. If you had some of those, you could use that, or you could just use a little small cooking onion, whatever you have on hand. Onions in my home, and probably yours, are a staple item. I have onions all the time because I use them in so many different things. You want to kind of mince it fine, because remember, it's going in those little tiny cups. And you know what? I think probably half of this onion is enough, because you don't want to overwhelm it with the onion flavor. This is all about the chicken and the flavors that go with that, which typically with buffalo chicken, I'm going to go ahead and add the onion to that, so I want to saute the onion. Buffalo chicken has celery in it, and that happens to be one of my favorite vegetables, is some celery. So any chance I get to use it in my cooking, I want to use it. Just want to kind of stir that around, and you want to cook it on all sides. Smells so good. Our sauce is melted, our butter in our hot sauce. Just kind of let that go while you cut up. I just need half of that. Cut up some celery. If you buy celery that has those leafy tops on it, by all means leave those leaves on there, because it really, truly has a lot of good flavor. This celery had a little piece there. Let's cut that off. Little bad looking place, but just cut it off. Cut your celery into small dice. Love celery. And that's another little quick appetizer that you can do. You can take celery sticks like this, cut them in half or in, leave them whole, and then stuff this part with cream cheese. If you would like, those flavored cream cheeses. One of my favorite little snacks is good crisp celery with a little bit of peanut butter in there, but you could do cream cheese for Christmas. Maybe mix some cream cheese with some roasted red peppers. Would be yummy in some celery. And then cut it into, little 1-inch bite-sized pieces for your appetizer tray would be another idea for you. Delicious and good for you. And do you know, just a little tidbit of info for you, that it takes more calories to digest celery than what's actually in it. Little hint there. There's a couple of pieces of onion. I want to get that in there to cook. I don't want raw onion in my filling, and I don't want to cook this celery up per se. I'm just going to add it the last minute to retain that crispness. Get our chicken going. Smells so good in here. That's one of my favorite things about the holiday time is the smells that come out of the kitchen when you're baking cookies or you're, making anything at all. Just feels like home. This also would be a great thing to serve at Super Bowl parties. If your household watches the Super Bowl or you have a gathering, because, buffalo chicken wings are kind of one of those traditional Super Bowl things, but we're doing it for Christmas this year. It's a yummy, yummy thing to have. And I'm trying to show you today a multitude of things, 3 or 4 different kinds of appetizers that you can do, and most of which, really all of this, can be made ahead of time so that you can enjoy your company, because a lot of people don't like to have a big meal. I know at my mother's home for Christmas Eve, we all bring different little things in, and we just have a lot of little small things and eat that instead of a great big meal on Christmas Eve. And that's just kind of where this came from, was that, sometimes we don't want a great big meal. We just want to have small bites of something. You know what? That's about done. We're going to take a quick little break. When I come back, we're going to finish up our filling, stuff our cups, get our water chestnuts, and finish up some other appetizers. I'll be back in just a minute.
Tell me what can I do today?
Hey, let me get that for you.
If that ain't what it's all about, tell me what can I do today?
Thank you, young man. No problem.
Courtesy. Pass it on.
Don't worry about me. I got it.
A message from the Foundation for a Better Life.
Thank you.
Kindness. Pass it on. A message from the Foundation for a Better Life.
Hi, and welcome back. Now, our chicken is done. We are going to add our spices, which is about a teaspoon of chili powder and about a half a teaspoon of garlic powder. It's not one of the ingredients that I use all that often, but sometimes I just don't want the chunks of garlic in there, and I'm just using some garlic powder. And if you watch this show, you know I always add spices before I add any liquid to kind of let the heat and the oils from the food bloom the spices. Then I'm going to add that sauce that we made, which is just melted butter and hot sauce. Going to add that to it. And I'm going to add our celery. Now, I've still got my eye on low. Add your celery. And I am going to add about half of my blue cheese to it now, and then top it with some blue cheese in a few minutes. So we're going to add about 1/4 cup or so of just blue cheese crumbles. Just a little bit. And in this pan, which I'm going to put on low, we got our water chestnuts out. I'm going to show you that in just 2 seconds here. Let that kind of heat through for just a minute. Now let's see in here, and oh, I am such a happy person right now because I love this dish. These are our water chestnuts that we took out of the oven, and we just put down in that sauce that we made with ketchup and brown sugar, and that, my friends, is it. That is all you do to those. I have them on low. Again, you could do this in your crock pot and have it ready to go. And I'm just going to kind of let those sit for just a minute while we make our, finish up our little buffalo cups. Now here's the cups. Let me show you. Look at these, how cute they are. They're just perfect little bite-sized appetizer serving portions, and that's what we want. And I need to get a little spoon, and I'm going to take our buffalo chicken filling that we made, stir all that together. That blue cheese is just sort of softened a little bit in there. And then take some of your filling, make sure you get all the individual little things in there, and put them in your little cups. Just put it right down in there. I'm gonna eat that one because it's got lots of celery in there. And then top it with just a little bit more of your crumbled blue cheese. And that's it. And there you go, perfect size little appetizer bites. And we'll finish filling those in just a minute, because I want to show you the topping or the filling that we're going to make for our little crescent roll doughs. I have in here about 1/2 cup or so of just plain purchased pizza sauce. Then I'm going to add about 1/3 cup of just plain old purchased pesto sauce. Some Parmesan shredded cheese. You could use either Parmesan or Romano, either one. About 1/2 cup or so. Some pepperoni that I'm going to mince up very fine. Just sliced pepperoni, or if you have the pepperoni sticks, just mince it up, either one. You could use turkey pepperoni if you wanted to in here, if you like that. Would be fine. This is just plain pepperoni. I'm mincing it up. It doesn't have to be perfect because it's going in the filling. Just add that to it. About 1/2 cup or so. And then a roasted red pepper. I just buy the jars. About 1/2 cup or so, which is usually about 1 pepper, if I can get it out of there. Drain all that off. And mince it up. This is one of my favorite things. If you have your own peppers and you want to roast them yourself, you go right ahead. I love these things. They are so good on sandwiches, paninis, marinated in olive oil and Italian dressing or balsamic vinegar. Delicious. Takes on a completely different flavor when you roast the pepper. Just one roasted pepper. And you're kind of getting the colors of Christmas here. You're getting the green pesto with the red pepper. Now, that's the filling. Now, let me show you what to do. I just bought a roll of crescent dough. You could use puff pastry if you wanted to. If you can find the sheets of the crescent dough and not the little triangles, I would get those, but my store did not have that. So what I've done is unrolled it and just pressed together. I took 2 triangles and pressed them together to form one sheet, and you'll get 3 different little things out of your one roll of crescent dough. You know, the kind you get over there with the biscuits. And then take some of your filling, stir all that together, and take your filling and spread it out thinly on your sheet. Don't overfill, because it will just explode in the oven. Turn your oven to 400. And then you're going to take your fingers and you're going to roll this up. And if it comes apart, that's okay. It's okay. And then take a serrated knife and a lined baking sheet. I'm running out of room here. I cut off the ends because they don't ever cook up pretty. And then just cut these into little pinwheels and put them on a lined baking sheet, 400 degrees for about 10 minutes. And there you go. They're delicious and easy. All right, now our dishes are all done. Here are the beautiful little pesto pinwheels. And if your children are a fan of those frozen pizza rolls that you can buy, they will love